5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, beautiful people. Happy Tuesday. We are here to talk movies. We are here to talk the underrated, unappreciated, and forgotten movies. And I'm really excited for this topic because I always feel like I'm the only person on the planet that be watching certain movies or that remember certain movies. I'm always like, does anybody remember this movie? Did anybody else besides me watch this movie? So all of the gems that I love, I say, you know what? I'm just going to put them all in one place. So if you need something to add to your watch list, if you're looking for some movies, I got you covered. Okay, we have 100 of the movies that I consider to be underrated, unappreciated, or forgotten. And every movie on this list is a 3-star and up, a 3 to 5-star movie. Those are the only ones that I included on this list because y'all know I love a bad horror movie and I love a generic bad action movie. But I said I'm just gonna put in the good movies. Hey, Anakin, not Vader. Thank you so much for being here in the live. Shout out to you. Hey, Sam. Shout out to you. Make sure you guys check out Our Life in Horror. Now, if you have any of your favorite movies that you consider to be underrated or unappreciated or forgotten, drop them in the chat. Maybe by some slim chance, it could be some stuff I haven't heard of that I can add to my watch list. Because I really feel like I've seen every movie on the planet. Like, I really, really feel like I have. But to break this down so you guys have an understanding of the list. So underrated, I think it's probably self-explanatory. Unappreciated are the movies that for some reason y'all let flop in the theaters. Like really great movies that y'all paid dust. That's the unappreciated. And then the forgotten movies are the movies that did well but have like faded off into forgotten movie land. Like the movies that performed, they did well, people loved them, but for some reason no one ever talks about them anymore. So that is the list of movies that I have compiled here. Yes, I am not a fan of clothes on dogs. I will say that, but I have a little teeny tiny 6-pound thin fur dog, and we are in Tennessee, and it's been snowing, it's been cold. So yeah, she is in her sweater. And even if it's not really cold outside, sometimes she's in her sweater because she gets cold just easily. And I like to keep my thermostat on a comfortable 68 degrees. So sometimes she has to just have her sweater on, even if it's not cold outside. But she has this like really cute, like thick red hoodie that I was putting on her when it was snowing. It just looks so cute. But no, don't be putting clothes on dogs. I just do it because it's a necessity. That's the only reason that I am doing it. So let's go ahead and get into the list because we're not going to be here all day. And I know I be saying that and then we end up being here for 4 hours, but that's not happening today. This will be no spoilers, so I'm not really going to get into a lot with the movies. I'm just basically going to give you each movie and like a brief synopsis of the movie to add to your watch list. And right after this, we have a live, just our chit chat all over the place where we talk about any and everything live. That will be right after this one. So we won't be here all day for this one, okay? I'm just pretty much here to just give y'all this list. And I know 100 movies sounds like a lot, but we gonna get through it, okay? We're not gonna be here all day. Brandon says Priest is underappreciated. Wait a minute. Okay, so is Priest the movie with the vampires and like the church was training the priests to fight the vampires, but then once the vampire scum, they were like rid of them, all of a sudden the priests ain't have no place in society. If that's the movie Brandon is referring to, I absolutely agree. If I'm not mistaken, I might need to refresh my memory. I think Priest bombed in theaters, if I remember correctly. I like that movie. I actually really like Priest. I've rewatched it quite a few times. I probably rewatched that movie maybe 5-6 times over the years. Yeah, that's a good one that I did not have on this list. I didn't even think about that movie when I was making this list. But yes, that's a really good one. Yeah, I like that one. And I just like the whole premise, the whole idea. Was it based on a comic book? I don't know if I'm mixing it up. I think maybe that's also one of the reasons it might have bombed the theaters. Maybe it was based on a comic book and people was mad that it didn't stay true. I don't know. Don't quote me on that stuff. I'm like vaguely trying to remember. But yes, good one, Brandon. I absolutely agree with Priest. Please add that to your watch list. It's really good. Well, let me not put too much sauce on it. Let me not say really good. It's a good movie. I don't want to put too much. I'm not gonna put no sauce on none of these movies. Well, I'm gonna try not to, because y'all know I like to jump off a cliff and be saying like talking stuff up, but I don't want to do that. Okay, Priest is good. Priest is good. I would say Priest out of 5 stars is a solid 3 in my opinion. I think it's a solid 3. Equalizer, thank you so much for being here in the live. Shout out to you. Let's go ahead and get into my list and continue to drop your underrated or unappreciated or forgotten gems in the chat. The first movie that I wanted to talk about is Tenet, because y'all be doing Tenet real bad. So Tenet, for me, it's a victim of a lot of things, but I think Tenet is a victim of the time it came out. Tenet dropped in 2020 when the movies weren't going to the theaters. They were going to streaming for like $19.99 for the new movies that was coming out. And I think Tenet suffers from the time, and I also think that Tenet suffers from the Christopher Nolan effect. Okay, so I don't necessarily agree when people say that Christopher Nolan films are like overly complicated. I really don't think they are at all. I mean, a movie like Inception literally lays out the rules at your feet. Like, it lays out the rules, the world. I don't find his movies to be super complicated. Even a movie like Memento, I don't think that movie is complicated. Tenet complicated as hell. Tenet made me feel like I was an idiot. Like, I thought I was smart. Okay, I thought I was smart. No, Tenet is yeah. I love Tenet. I've seen it. I own Tenet, and I've seen it probably 7 times. I cannot tell you what this movie is about. Like, I can't look. It got something to do with like an agent and weird time travel, but like, I really can't tell you. I can't really explain the movie. I don't understand this movie. I don't understand it, but it's a good goddamn time. It's amazing action. And what's so funny, I will never forget watching this with my mother for the first time. I had no clue anything about the movie. We just watched it. Never heard of John David Washington. Didn't know his name. Just was watching the movie. And I will never forget us watching the movie and feeling like, this guy is really giving Denzel, and nobody in the history of the world can give Denzel. There's just a certain mannerism to Denzel Washington that no one can replicate. And I remember feeling like, this guy is like, he has that smooth, that too cool for school type of vibe, just like Denzel. And then after watching the movie, and you know how, am I the only person, like, when you watch a movie, you got to look up everything. You got to look up the actors and what they played in. And I was like, this is Denzel Washington's son? I had no idea. Now, unfortunately, he has not been able to replicate that cool in any of his following movies. I love John David Washington. I think he is super, super, super talented. He carries this movie amazingly. But just like Gerard Butler, he picks terrible projects. John David Washington absolutely picks terrible projects. But I think Tenet is absolutely unappreciated to the max. I feel like people just write it off as overly confusing, which it is. But the opening sequence is literally amazing. There's so many sequences in the movie that are completely awe-inspiring. I love how Christopher Nolan loves to do everything very practical. I love this movie. Okay, and please give it another chance, or give it a first-time chance if you haven't yet. Oh, and I meant to say this list it's in no order. I didn't rank them. I wasn't about to take the time to rank 100 movies. Like I didn't have the brain power. The Girl on the Train. I think this is based on a book. I have not read the book. The Girl on the Train is like a mystery thriller about this divorced woman who rides the train every day and kind of like fantasizes or makes up stories about the people that she sees looking through the window of the train, and she ends up kind of getting involved with someone that she sees looking through the looking out the train that she like looks at. Really, really top tier mystery thriller that I have no clue why I never hear anyone talk about. Amazing cast, amazing performances, really well written. Next we have Flight Plan with the great Jodie Foster. This is another like mystery, kind of mystery crime thriller type of movie where Jodie Foster husband died. She's in a foreign country. She is taking her husband's body on the plane. She has her young daughter with her, and she falls asleep. She like boards the plane early. There's really no one on the plane but her and her daughter. Her and her daughter fall asleep. Once the plane takes off and Jodie Foster's character wakes up, her daughter isn't there. She's looking for her daughter, and everyone is kind of being like, you didn't have a daughter with you. I didn't see any daughter. So there's this whole thing of everyone trying to make her or make it seem like something's wrong mentally. There was no daughter here. I'm not really going to get into much else because I feel like that might be spoiler territory, but that's the gist of the movie. I think this was around the early 2000s that this came out. Just a sadly forgotten movie. If I remember correctly, this did perform well, but for some reason it had just faded into obscurity. I really never hear anyone talk about this movie. The Kingdom. This is a kind of war. I guess they're not at war. Crime thriller, I guess we'll call it. Kind of war territory though, where we have a base in somewhere in the Middle East, and there is a terrorist attack on the American base, and we end up sending in some American operatives to like solve the crime. And I feel like it's that typical U.S. versus the Middle East kind of versus terrorist story that we get in these movies, but it's actually really well done. It has a real heart to it, and I like that they don't demonize everybody on the Middle Eastern side. We do have somebody that's working with our American operatives that is invested in solving this with them, and then we have also other people that are pretty much over there kind of putting roadblocks in the way. And Jamie Foxx is in this, Jennifer Garner, really great cast, and there is an amazing amazing fight with Jennifer Garner, and this like 200-pound cop diesel, like look like he lifting weights with his neck guy. And I love the fight. It's an amazing fight, very well choreographed, but it feels extremely realistic. Like it feels like very claustrophobic hand-to-hand combat. Like you're literally just trying to scrape and claw for your life against somebody that is much bigger than you. But I really, really thought this was extremely, extremely well done. I have a lot of fun with this movie, but I never hear anybody talk about it. Paula, hi, thank you so much for being here in the live. Shout out to you. Your sister has great taste because The Girl on the Train is amazing, and I need to give it a rewatch. I've only seen it once when it came out. I need to give it a rewatch. I was very, very blown away. And I feel like the girl, okay, no, I'm not gonna get into that. I'm gonna go down a whole nother road. But what is his name? Is his name Luke Evans? Luke Evans was fine as all outside in The Girl on the Train. He was scary. Yeah, Luke Evans, that's his name. He was scary, but he was fine as all outside. Gerard Butler goes out of his way to pick. I'm telling you, I be feeling like nobody said, like, I be feeling like I'm the only person I see. Gerard Butler literally picks the word. I feel like he is the number one actor in Hollywood who he has the worst catalog. Like he really does. I feel like Gerard Butler and what's my guy that was just in Werewolves? Frank Grillo, Gerard Butler, and Tony Todd, rest his soul, will take any check. Any check you give them three actors, baby, they showing up to the set. I feel like I be saying, like, do y'all even read the script before y'all say yes? Those three actors will literally play in anything. But what I will say about Frank Grillo, he definitely has way more hits than misses. Out of all of those three actors who I said will take any check, and no disrespect, because I need the checks. I get it. We all need some checks. So I ain't even trying to be funny when I say that, but they're not selective, okay? But Gerard Butler has the worst catalog. But those, they will say yes to anything, like 150 billion%. Unappreciated, Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones, Hancock, and Tower Heist. I can't get behind Paranormal Activity. I really can't get behind the found footage. I don't think I saw the Marked Ones. I saw one I might have seen two Paranormal Activity movies. I think they have maybe 5 or 6. I don't know which one I saw, but I know both of them was very just draggy, and then it was like action jam. It's like the last 5 minutes of the movies. Hancock, maybe I need to give a rewatch. I saw Hancock way back in the day when it came out. I wasn't much of a fan, but maybe I need to give it a rewatch and see how I would feel about it now. Tower Heist sounds vaguely familiar. Let me look that up. Oh, I do know Tower Heist, but I never saw it. I'm not a comedy person. Yeah, this is the comedy with Ben Stiller, Eddie Murphy, and all of them. All the funny people. But yes, continue to drop your underrated, unappreciated, and forgotten movies. SWAT is early 2000s, maybe like 2005, 2006, maybe 2003. I don't know, somewhere in that early 2000s range. This is an action movie where we have this group of elite SWAT team with my girl Michelle Rodriguez. I was crazy about Michelle Rodriguez around this time, from the Girl Fight movie, Resident Evil, SWAT. I loved her so much at this time. We have Colin Farrell, LL Cool J. And when I was putting this list together, LL Cool J is going to come up again in another movie. Why do we always put non-acting as common in everything? Where's LL? Why he not still acting? Because LL can actually act, okay? We need to give him the roles that we always give Common. I don't know why Common gets casted. And of course we have Sam Jackson, but SWAT is an action movie about this elite group, the SWAT team and a bunch of other cops. We have this big like crime lord, and he gets arrested. He's been transported, and he says he will give $1 million. I think it was $1 million or $10 million, some like large amount. He will give that money to anybody who breaks him out of prison. So pretty much the movie consists of bad guys, good guys, your mom and pop. Everybody is trying to break him out and go after the SWAT team that is escorting him so that they can cash in on the money that this crime lord has promised. And this is really a gem, and it's one of those movies where I feel like, I don't know how it did in theaters, but I be feeling like, was I the only person that saw SWAT? Because I did not hear anybody talk about it when it came out. Valkyrie, I am a huge Tom Cruise fan. Now, this is a man with an amazing catalog. Valkyrie is, I think it's based on a true story. Don't quote me. I think it's based on a true story about a assassination, or attempted assassination and attempted like political coup, like plot by a group of German soldiers, German officers against Hitler around World War II. And this is a very stacked cast. This is a very, period piece type of drama about this group that tries to take out Hitler. I really feel like this was based on a true story. I really feel like it, but don't quote me. But this is an amazing movie. Not action-packed in the slightest. It's just very much character-driven storyline, but it is so freaking intense. Like, it is intense to the max when they are trying to pull this whole thing off and be in secret and go against Hitler and everybody that's with him. Really amazingly well done. The Negotiator, a movie that I have watched ad nauseum. Okay, I have a certain set of movies that I watch, like comfort watches. I watch all the time. The Negotiator is one. The Negotiator, Kevin Spacey, Sam Jackson, and a hugely stacked cast where Samuel Jackson's partner is killed. He's framed for it, and he discovers this whole like plot that's going on. So he's trying to clear his name and uncover the plot, which is the reason why his partner was killed. And he ends up holding some people hostage, and he's working with Kevin Spacey, who was the negotiator, and trying to figure out who he can trust. Just one of those really well done, like intense, really thrilling. I want to say this was late 90s kind of thrillers that came out during that era. Let me see. We recently watched Bug and never heard of it. Oh my God, I did not add that to this list with what is that lady name from Kiss the Girls? Winona Judd. Yes, Bug is so good. That's another early time. Y'all, I didn't do a video on the early 2000s because y'all been sleeping real hard on the early 2000s. That is a gem of an era. Yes, Bug is amazing. This is why I say I literally my whole life be feeling like nobody watches these movies but me. I distinctly remember seeing Bug when it came out. I think it was the year I graduated high school. I think it was 2005 when Bug came out. Don't quote me. Somewhere in that time. That movie is so, talk about like psychological horror. So well done. So well done. I'll never hear it being talked about. Loved it so much. Yes. That's a good one, Sam. Really, really amazing movie. Sup, Nikki? I caught the damn flu. Oh, dang. Sorry to hear that. You know how when you watch movies and stuff or TV, there's a running joke that men act like literal babies when they get sick? That's me. If I'm sick, it's like I'm dead. Like, it's like I can't. And knock on wood, I literally have not been sick in ages. I mean, years on years on years. I haven't even had the common cold. Knock on wood. So thank God for that. But I really, really feel like working from home insulates me from all the nasty germs that humans be passing around. Like when you have to work in the office or work like closely with people nasty. People nasty. They will be sitting at their desk, sniffing all of their nose and running and coughing and people are nasty. Humans are disgusting. So I really feel like that plays a part in why I haven't been sick. But I'm sorry to hear that, Dan. I really am, because I hate being sick. Like I cannot live. Literally, I cannot live. Valkyrie is based on a true story. Okay. Thank you, Equalizer. Snow White and the Huntsman. Oh, Snow White and the Huntsman. I got a love-hate relationship with Snow White and the Huntsman because Kirsten Stewart killed that movie for me. I could not stand her in that movie, but Charlize Theron was fucking killing that movie. I remember seeing that in theaters. I love Charlize Theron. Love her to death, and she killed that movie. 310 to Yuma remake is really good. That's a good one. I never hear anyone talk about. The Ruins is also a good one that I really don't hear people talk about, and I want to say that's another early 2000s gem. I feel like The Ruins is 2005 to 2007, somewhere in that range. The Ruins is good. Yes, yes. Bug is amazing. Add that to your list if you have not seen Bug with what is her name? I just remembered it and I just forgot it. That Ashley Judd. I couldn't think. So it's not just me. It's so funny to me because it's like, they have two running themes when it comes to movie and television and men. One is how incompetent they make dads if they're left alone with kids. And two is how men act like literal babies if they're sick. Those are the two like running. I am like, when I tell you, it's crazy. Like I can't function. I can't live if I'm sick. I really can't. I hate being sick. Like I hate it so bad. Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah, The Ruins is great. The Night Comes for Us. The Night Comes for Us is an Asian action movie where we have this villain who works for like the Triad, and he is tasked with a group of goons with him to massacre this village of people and they massacre the people, but then when it's time to kill this child, he can't do it, so he kills all the goons with him and ends up on the run trying to protect the little girl and get her to safety. And just that simple premise, trust me, I feel like this is literally one of the best movies I just said that I wasn't gonna jump off the cliff and talk these movies up. Okay, so I'm not even gonna finish that story. Okay, I'm not even gonna finish. I mean, that sentence, what I was about to say. But action packed. There's a heart to the story, which y'all know I love a heart to the story. I love a movie that's gonna have me on the verge of crying because I am a crybaby. Love the side characters. There were a lot of people that I was really, really rooting for, and I really love like not having good guys. Like I like having where you have a story where you're not following good guys. We're following everyone in the movie is a bad guy. They are just in a mode where we don't know what it is. I think we don't know. They might have told us, they might not have, but for some reason, when they look at this little girl, they just end up wanting to help her. So they're not in essence good guys. And I really love that. I love a story that follows characters like that because I don't always just want the goody guys. The Gray, I talk ad nauseum on this channel about how one of my favorite I call it a subgenre of movies is the fight for your life, fight for survival type of movies. The destruction, nature type of movies. And The Gray is one of my favorites. The Gray is Liam Neeson. And Frank Grillo was in here. Speaking of the man that would take any check, Frank Grillo was in here. Really great cast, stat cast. And we have a group. They are on a plane. It crashes in the middle of nowhere. They have to survive the plane crash. They have to survive the elements because it is freezing. It is snow. And they have a pack of wolves that are after them as they are trying to survive and get to safety. This is a really good one. It teeters between kind of a slower pace, but I feel like it's more a very deliberate pace. You really get a feel for the characters. You really get in a mode of rooting for them. I do feel like it's a bit too heavy-handed with the flashbacks and stuff when it comes to the Liam Neeson's character. I kind of feel like, babe, we need all that. But really, really solid. Really solid. I love movies like this. I love trying to think, would I survive? How would I survive? Would I be that panicky person? Would I be the take charge person? Like, I love movies like that. Shooter, if I'm not mistaken, they also made a TV show based on this. But we have Mark Wahlberg, Danny Glover, really stat cast here. This is an action movie where Mark Wahlberg was like a war hero, one of the best snipers. I want to say in the world. I think he was like one of the best snipers in the world, something like that. There is a plot to kill the president. So like the CIA or one of those letter alphabet agencies come get him and task him with, hey, if someone wanted to kill the president, you're a sniper, you're the best. We need to know how they would do it, how it would go down. We need you to help us protect the president. But come to find out, it is all a plot to frame Mark Wahlberg's character for killing the president. And we spend the movie with him on the run trying to solve this and clear his name and see what the whole situation is with these people going against him and making him the scapegoat, basically. Jawbreaker. When I tell you they don't make movies like Jawbreaker no more. Where are the 30-year-old actors playing teenagers? Jawbreaker is like, I hate to say comedy. It's not comedy, but it's like a comedy, horror, crime, thriller type of movie where you have these, it's kind of like a horror Mean Girls, but much better because I've never seen Mean Girls, but that's the vibes that it gives me. It's like a horror Mean Girls. So we have this popular clique. They kill a girl and they end up being caught by like the biggest nerd in school. And it also blends in like she's got to have it. No, not she's got to have it. She's all that because they take that nerdy girl and they transform her into a popular girl. Pam Grier is in here as a detective. Really, really, really top tier movie. Rose McGowan is exceptional in this movie. You hear me? Exceptional. Absolutely amazing movie. And it's a travesty that I don't hear people talk about this movie, especially the people in the horror sector online. Please get hip to Jawbreaker. If I'm not mistaken, this is late 90s, early 2000s era, somewhere in that time. Really, really good. Yes, Jawbreaker is amazing. No, I've never seen Mean Girls. It's just not my cup of tea. I was shocked The Night Comes for Us wasn't talked about more. Yes, like when I tell you, it literally felt like I said I ain't gonna jump off no cliffs, but one of the greatest movies, like, of all time. I don't care. I'm gonna be, look. Okay, I might be jumping off a cliff saying it's one of the greatest movies of all time, but it is that's a 5-star movie. That's a 5-star movie. I said this whole list is 3 to 5-star movies. The Night Comes for Us is the 5-star. Amazing, 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 amazing. 2 underrated movies are Salt and Antitrust with Ryan Felipe. Yes, that's a good one. Dang, I forgot all about that movie. That's a really good one. Salt. Oh my God. When I said The Negotiator is one of those movies, that's my comfort movie that I see ad nauseum. Salt is another one. I love Salt. Love, obsessed. And it is a travesty that it is not talked about more. Like, everybody talks about John Wick or all the other action movies, but we need to be talking about Salt. Those are some really, really good ones. U.S. Marshals. I think that's a really good one, because I feel like everybody kind of focuses on The Fugitive and kind of just throws away U.S. Marshals, which is the sequel. The Fugitive is amazing. Okay, top tier. U.S. Marshals is good as hell too. Like, I don't care. U.S. Marshals is amazing. That's an amazing sequel. That's a good one. I feel like people just completely throw that one to the wayside for some reason. Well, not for some reason. People always hate on sequels. End of Days. This is a horror, thriller, crime type of movie where we have Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays this is a really gritty, dark role for him. And I really enjoyed him in this. Gabriel Byrne plays the devil. And we have a situation where it is going to strike the new millennium, the year 2000, and at midnight or by midnight, the devil needs to mate with this woman that he has chosen to, like, bring the child of the devil or something. Was it like a Jesus person, but evil? I don't know what do you call the Jesus person, but he's not the son of God, he's the son of the devil. Is there a word for that? But that's what he's trying to do. And Arnold Schwarzenegger is trying to protect the girl from the devil and prevent him from mating with her and bringing this evil devil, Jesus Christ, onto the planet. A Simple Plan. We have literally one of the greatest actors of all time, Bill Paxton, and we have Jane Fonda, and what's that white man name? My mind is blanking. I can't think, but he right there on the screen for you. But A Simple Plan is a 90s gem. This is a crime thriller where we have just some regular old people, working class people and lower class, where they're brothers. There's also a friend involved. We're out just hanging out, and we come across a plane crash where the person in the plane is dead, but there is a load of money, like millions of dollars, and they decide, hey, we're going to have this simple plan, and we're going to take the money, and things just, go how they go from that. When you try to think you're finna come across millions of dollars and you think no one's going to miss it and you're going to just take it. Such a gem. Such a gem. And I don't know why I don't hear anyone talk about it. The X-Files, I Want to Believe. This is the X-Files movie where Mulder and Scully are on the case of this missing FBI agent. I think there was like a serial killer that was like taking women, and the FBI agent ended up being one of the victims. And they end up entangled with this priest who claims to like see visions and stuff like that to try to help them solve the case. I think Exhibit was in this one. Yeah, I think he was in this one. I haven't seen this in a real long time, but I think Exhibit was in it. Insomnia is, I think this is Christopher Nolan, if I'm not mistaken. Insomnia is Al Pacino and Robin Williams, where Al Pacino is a detective and he ends up in a situation where like he accidentally shoots and kills his partner, but I think there was something shady where they didn't know he killed his partner. Like he gets away with it, but he's like very guilt ridden. He ends up going to, I think, Alaska or something to investigate the serial killer or missing girl or something like that. And he's really affected because when he's in Alaska, there's no nighttime. He's suffering from insomnia. He's suffering the effects of like the guilt of killing his partner. Really amazing gem. Absolutely love Robin Williams in this role. Transit is such a gem. Transit is one of those movies that I feel like I was the only person on the planet who saw it. Transit has Jim. What do you call it? What is it? Jim Cavell. That man. Really stat cast. And we also have my guy from oh, my mind is blanking. What is my black dude name? Harold, and I can never pronounce his last name. Harold Perrineau, the sheriff from, he's in here. But Transit has a family who is taking a trip together. The father just came out of prison for a white collar crime. And there's another group that just robbed the bank or something like that. They're trying to get through a roadblock. So they put their bag of money on the car, in the car, with the family amongst their bags to get through the roadblock. And then they, of course, track the family down to take the money. And that is pretty much the gist of the movie. Really well done. And they throw some stuff in there that works really well in this premise. Just a really great action movie. Argo. Absolutely love Ben Affleck as an actor, but I absolutely love Ben Affleck when it comes to directing. He directed Argo. This is another one like Valkyrie, where don't quote me, but I think this is also based on a true story. Argo is about a CIA agent who is trying to rescue U.S. hostages during an Iran crisis in, I think, the 70s. And he does so under the guise of a Hollywood producer who is scouting locations for a science fiction film, but he needs to make it legit. So he literally like goes through the motions of actually doing a Hollywood like low budget creature feature. 13 Sins. 13 Sins is a movie about a guy who participates in a game where you get a phone call and they tell you a series of tasks that eventually escalates. And with each task that you have to do, you get a certain amount of money, but you have to go through all 13 of the tasks to get anything. Of course, there's like a deadly, twist to the whole scenario. Such a gem. I have rewatched that movie ad nauseum. No Escape. No Escape is like an action type of movie where we have this American family. It's a man, his wife, their two kids. They go over to like an unnamed foreign country and they end up in the middle of like this huge war going on where the citizens are trying to kill the Americans that have come over. It has something to do with their water or something political. So pretty much we have Pierce Brosnan in here and he is helping the family try to get out alive. And when I tell you, any life or death situation, I don't want to have kids. I don't want no kids on me. Man, when you got to duck and fight, it's so intense. And I feel like it's confounded by the fact that they got them little bratty ass kids, but not bratty though. These were not the kids that like going to get on your nerve and be, they did some obnoxious, like typical kid stuff, but it's not bad. It's not one of those movies where it'll like get on your nerves, but this is a really good one that I don't know why it just flew really under the radar. We Own the Night, such a gem of a freaking movie. We Own the Night is Joaquin Phoenix. What is this man? What is this man? I swear I have so many movies and actors in my brain that I can't think. What is that man? Mark Wahlberg. Jesus Christ, I couldn't think. But we have Joaquin Phoenix, who is basically like a bad guy, shady guy who runs this New York nightclub. He, rubs shoulders with the criminal lifestyle. His brother and father are upstanding members of society. They are cops, but he ends up having to help his brother and father when they are targeted by the Russian mafia. Let's see. Spy Game is a good one. Spy Game is a good one. Body of Lies and Spy Game are two good spy thrillers. Yeah, I love a spy thriller. I love an espionage, like all the little alphabet, all the alphabet people. Love, 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 love. The first X-Files movie is the superior. Yeah, but I feel like that's the one that gets the shine, and this list is all the underrated ones. Yeah, the first X-Files movie is really good, but I love that sequel, I Want to Believe. That one is really good, and I don't know why people pay it does. Traffic and Crash are also underrated. Now, hold on. Now, I know you ain't talking about that racist movie where the racist cop saved that white lady. I mean, saved the black lady. Yeah, no, I can't get down with Crash. Yep, that is the movie. Yeah, no. I don't know why they turned the racist character into a white savior. That was very problematic. I don't know why we did that. What is Traffic? Let me see. Traffic, Michael Douglas, Benicio del Toro. A conservative judge is appointed by the president of spearhead America's escalating war against drugs, only to discover that his teenage daughter is a crack. I don't know this movie. Wow, I don't think I know this. Don Cheadle, Michael Douglas, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Benicio del Toro. I don't. Let me add this to my watch list. And this is from 2000. That's my era. Yeah, thank you, Dane. See, that's a good one. I'm gonna add that to my list. And it's rated very high. It has a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb. That is very high. Cop drama, drug crime, crime drama, thriller. Oh, and it's free on Stars right now. I can pull this up and watch it. I know what I'm watching tomorrow. Good one. Good one. Let me see. Mr. Brooks, we have Demi Moore and Kevin Costner, where Demi Moore plays a detective trying to solve a crime, and we have a serial killer, and he has like this, I don't want to call it a split, maybe I don't want to call it a split personality, but he has like this person who is actually an actor, and he like is in the movie, but nobody can see him except Mr. Brooks. And I really don't want to say too much else because I feel like that might, I don't know how to give a real synopsis without getting into spoiler territory. But basically, he's a serial killer. Demi Moore is a detective. Oh, and we have Dane Cook in here. Oh, yeah, okay, that's not spoiler. So Dane Cook ends up where he's a peeping Tom, and he catches Kevin Costner killing someone, and he says like, hey, I want to kill too, so I'm gonna blackmail you with these photos, and you gonna teach me how to be a serial killer. That's like a little subplot going on in the movie that's really freaking good. So really great one. I never heard anyone talk about. Great performance from Demi Moore. Great writing. I think it's really good all around. Rat Race. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Let me look that up. Oh, I know this movie. Yeah, not my cup of tea is comedy. Oh, yeah, not for me. The Last King of Scotland. I literally still remember the first time I saw this movie. I feel like this came out the year I graduated high school in 2005. Don't quote me again, but I think this is also based on a true story. But The Last King of Scotland is about this like brutal dictator from Uganda around the 70s. He has like this relationship with his personal physician, played by, I think it was James McAvoy. Yeah, I think it was James McAvoy who plays the physician. Very, very intense, like drama Forrest Whitaker is doing his good acting. What's that black lady who knows she can't act? Oh Lord, what is her name? Y'all know the one. That black lady who cannot act. Kerry Washington. Kerry Washington. She is a really, really stacked cast. Kerry Washington plays one of his many wives, and she ends up in like an affair with the physician. Just one of those really epic historical dramas where, and I please don't quote me, but I feel like is this the only time we saw Forrest Whitaker play a villainous, despicable character? Why do I feel like he don't really play villainous characters very much? This may not have been the only time, but I feel like it's one of the few times I've seen Forrest Whitaker play a despicable villainous character. Like he was, y'all, when I tell that movie get dark, he was despicable. Paycheck has my least favorite actor in the world, Uma Thurman, and one of my favorite actors in the world, Ben Affleck. Paycheck is one of those time travel-y type of movies where Ben Affleck falls in love with Uma Thurman, but he made an agreement for this company that he's building a machine for, that he agrees that after he builds his machine for them, he will have his memory erased. So since he fell in love with her working at the company, he will lose all his memory of her. But then there's this whole thing that goes down. So it's pretty much a very typical by the numbers thriller where you have this big conglomerate that's going after like this one person that's fighting against them, which is Ben Affleck. But I feel like it's really well done, and I like how they kind of piece stuff together. It's like a bargain brand Christopher Nolan. Like it's kind of maybe because I just was watching Memento, but you have all these little pieces that he has to put together, and he has no memory. So yeah, kind of Memento, but only in the essence of not having a memory and having to piece the little notes and stuff together. But it's a solid 3 out of 5. Like I said, very by the numbers in the plot and how things play out. I won't say very predictable, but predictable. But it's really good along the way. Even if you know the destination there is actually really exciting. And I love Ben Affleck. Like I'm hard pressed to not love anything he's in. As much as I don't like comedy, I do have a few gems that I love. Evolution is one. Does anybody remember when Orlando? What was his name? Orlando Brown was playing in what's his name? Orlando Brown or Orlando Bloom? Because I'm finna get confused. Hold on now. Which one is Bloom and which? Orlando Jones. Damn it, I ain't even had it. Anybody remember when Orlando Jones was like making a bunch of movies? We have David Duchovny. We have Julianne Moore, Sean William Scott, Orlando Jones, very sad cast. But Evolution is a comedy about 2 college professors, and they end up discovering, I think it was an alien species. And yes, it was like a meteor that crashes, and they discover this alien species. But then the government comes in, which Julianne Moore is a part of the government, and they go to take over. But ultimately, we all have to work together. Really hilarious, really disgusting. And this is also our early 2000s gem. I don't know why people do not talk about Evolution. It is so amazing. Trapped, just like with Paycheck, is a very by the numbers type of thriller, but really effective acting really elevate this. We have Charlize Theron, we have Kevin Bacon, really stacked cast here. Trapped is where Kevin Bacon and his crew kidnap kids of wealthy people and hold them for ransom. But once he gets to this family, things don't go as planned. Okay, we'll pretty much just put it like that. Now with Trapped, I will say I stand by it being on this list, but I don't love it like I did back in the day when it came out. I loved this movie back in the early 2000s. Now I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. So I don't know if it's because I've just rewatched it so much and maybe it's lost its luster once you just, because you have those movies that aren't really great for a bunch of rewatches. They start to lose their luster. Like Nicole Kidman's The Others. I love that movie, but once you know the twist, I feel like the movie isn't as effective. Surrogates with my guy Bruce Willis. Surrogates is a futuristic movie where, of course, we're going to always want to just be perfect and young and have, all that crazy stuff. But instead of us doing all kind of stuff to our bodies, we have surrogates. We have these robots, and we pretty much never leave the house. We just always go out into the world with our surrogate. And you're not supposed to be able to die, but all of a sudden, when your surrogate die, you die. Someone is going around doing it, and Bruce Willis and his partner are trying to solve the crime of how this person is able to kill you when you are connected to your surrogate, which isn't supposed to happen. Assault on Precinct 13, the remake, absolute gem. We have Lawrence Fishburne, who plays the villain. We have Ethan Hawke. And what's so funny, I remember around somewhere in this era, I love Ethan Hawke down. But I remember as a teenager trying to hate Ethan Hawke. If anybody is as old as me, do you remember when Ethan Hawke cheated on Uma Thurman when she was pregnant? So like I was trying to hate him because he did that. But baby, Ethan Hawke, he gonna always come out with a gem. Ethan Hawke be acting his ass off, and he picks really great projects. And I remember I was like, yeah, I can't really hate Ethan Hawke. I was trying. But Assault on Precinct 13 is a remake of the 70s Assault on Precinct 13, but they changed up this one where we have a group of convicts who have been transported in a bus. They, due to weather, have to stop off at a precinct that is closing down. It is the precinct's last night. So we just have a little skeleton crew of cops there. And Lawrence Fishburne plays like this huge crime boss who's working with cops. And the cops, of course, want to kill him before he can rat them out. And so we're pretty much holed up in this precinct, one location, trying to fight for our lives with the prisoners. And I'm going to also add the original Assault on Precinct 13 on here because I really don't hear anybody talk about either of these movies. I do like the remake better, but it could be biased because when I saw Assault on Precinct 13 when I was a teenager, I did not know it was a remake until years later, which is when I saw the original. The original is really good, but it's a different premise. With this Assault on Precinct 13, we have a dad and his daughter who end up in the middle of this like gang assassination. His daughter ends up getting shot and killed, and he runs to a police precinct, and they barricade themselves inside trying to fight off the gang. So different premise of how we end up locked in the precinct, but they both are locked in the precinct. Exit Wounds with DMX. Shag is criminally underrated, and Satisfaction. I feel like I have never heard of either of these movies. Shag from 1988. Yeah, that is not my... Oh, teen romance comedy. That is definitely not my ministry. Satisfaction from 1988. Liam Neeson. Oh, this is comedy, music, romance. Also not my ministry. Oh, I know these actors. Julia Roberts. Orlando Jones was the standout. Yes, he stole the show. What happened to that man's career? Because he was on like a trajectory. Like there was a movie, I think was it with an alligator or a crocodile or a lion or something like that Orlando Jones played in. He had a string where he was kind of, I don't want to say the it guy, but you know when actors have that moment in their career where they just kind of on. I don't know what happened to Orlando Jones. Like all of a sudden, I just didn't see him. But yeah, he stole the show. I think the whole cast is great. I love Evolution, but Orlando Jones definitely steals the show. The Accountant was good. Was a good movie. Good Will Hunting. I love. The Accountant with Ben Affleck, I couldn't get into it. That was a DNF. That was a do not finish. I wouldn't consider Good Will Hunting to be in the category of underrated, unappreciated, or forgotten. I feel like Good Will Hunting still gets a lot of love to this day. Oh, Congo is a good one. I never hear anyone talk about Congo. Yeah, that's a good one. Blood Diamond was, I would say that's in the forgotten category because that one was definitely very successful. But yeah, it has ventured off into obscurity. I never hear anybody talk about Blood Diamond anymore, but I will say it's a travesty. If I remember correctly, Leonardo was nominated for an Oscar, but not Demon Hinsu. And Ghost Dog. What is Ghost Dog? I'm thinking of Black Dog with Patrick Swayze. What is Ghost Dog? From 1999 with Forrest Whitaker, Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai, crime drama, an African American mafia hitman who models himself after the samurai of old finds himself targeted for death by the mob. I don't know this one. Adding that to my watch list. And it's on HBO. You know what? I be so annoyed that I pay for all these streaming services, but this is when stuff like that come in handy, because the last movie you gave me that I never heard of is on my Stars, and now this one is on my HBO Max. So I'm gonna check out Ghost Dog. How did this pass me by? 1999? I don't know how this passed me by. And Forrest Whitaker? Babe, I watch everything Forrest Whitaker does. I've never heard of this. I don't, very, very cool. I love that. I love finding new stuff that I've never heard of, because it literally feels like I've watched every movie under the sun, but you know, I haven't. I haven't. Child, Kerry Washington cannot act. Michael B. Jordan cannot act. I love Sanaa Lathan Down. Cannot act. Sorry. But Kerry Washington is the worst amongst everybody that I just named. Kerry Washington knows she can't act, child. She knows she cannot act. Lars and the Real Girl. This is so not my vibe. This is one of those movies where I stepped outside of my comfort zone, and it really paid off. Lars and the Real Girl stars Ryan Gosling. This is a romance, comedy, drama type of movie where Lars lives in this small town, and he gets a sex blow-up doll and takes her around to his brother's house for family dinner and throughout the town, and introduces her as his girlfriend. And throughout the movie, the sex blow-up doll is like a real person to him. And since he's such a nice, sweet guy, the whole town, like, he's a very nice, sweet, endearing type of character, a wholesome type of character. The whole town plays along with the fact that this sex blow-up doll is a real person. Y'all, I know that premise sounds crazy, but if you never trusted me before, trust me now, because y'all know this ain't my ministry. Y'all know I do not do romance. I don't do comedy. I don't do the heartfelt movies. So when I say this is y'all, this is up there. This is up there. There's only 2 romance movies in the history of cinema that I will go to bat for. That is The Fault in Our Stars, when them 2 cancer-ridden people fall in love, and Lars and the Real Girl. Look, trust me on this. Lars and the Real Girl is a gem. Now, I don't know how it's aged. I saw it once, way back in the early 2000s when it came out, but I really remember this movie. Y'all know how sometimes I don't be remembering movies. I remember Lars and the Real Girl vividly. It's a gem. And just that premise is so unique. Like, why is you parading a sex doll around town, introducing her as your girlfriend, and the whole town plays along that she's real? Because throughout the whole, like, Ryan Gosling character is like she's real. This is my girlfriend, and the whole town plays along and goes along with it. Absolutely love it. Hostage with my guy Bruce Willis. Hostage is an action movie, action crime. I'm gonna say action, like crime thriller type of movie, where Bruce Willis is a cop, but he was like it was like a situation where he was like a big time hostage negotiator working for the FBI. So one of them alphabet, people. And hostage negotiation goes wrong, so he ends up becoming sheriff of a small town. You know those movies, kind of like Copland, where you go to the small sleepy town because that's the only way you can still be a cop. But he ends up in a situation of another like flashback to like a hostage situation, and he tries to help. It is a father and his 2 like teenage daughter and young son being held hostage in a house. Y'all, such a sleeper gem that I never hear anybody talk about. I didn't hear anybody talk about it when it came out. I never hear anybody talk about it now. Bruce Willis has one of the best catalogs. Okay. You know, I don't count the recent years of movies he's done because unfortunately, as we know, he has like dementia or something. But before that came along, one of the best catalogs in history, hands down, like 150 billion%. And this is just such a gem, unappreciated to the max. I don't know what happened to anybody. Why people weren't watching it. Catch Me If You Can. This was a real surprise for me. It's definitely not my cup of tea. And I feel like the first time I watched it was like my early or mid 20s on like USA. I literally still remember watching this on like USA or TNT. But Catch Me If You Can. I think this is based on a true story where we have Tom Hanks, who plays this officer who is trying to track down Leonardo DiCaprio's character, who is like a young, I think it was 16, 17 years old. And he would like steal people identities and masquerade as like a pilot and all kind of different stuff. And I want to say doing all of that, he was like stealing money and stuff like that. So the whole movie is this officer trying to track him down, but really well done. Again, this is one of those movies that I only saw once, like Lars and the Real Girl, but definitely a gem. Definitely a gem. Now, Catch Me If You Can isn't unappreciated or underrated. It's more so in the forgotten category because it is a very like critically acclaimed, successful type of movie, but I think it's one of the forgotten ones that I really don't hear anyone talk about. Gone Baby Gone. I would say this is definitely underrated. I feel like people talk a lot about like Gone Girl. I never hear anybody talk about Gone Baby Gone. This one is Casey Affleck leading this because you know Gone Girl is his brother Ben Affleck, but Gone Baby Gone is a movie about a little girl who ends up kidnapped and missing, and like the cops are on the case, but Casey Affleck and his girlfriend play, I want to say they were like private detectives, or I don't know, maybe just a hood detective. Like they were solving crime, but they weren't like cops. I can't remember exactly what they were, but they end up getting on the case of this missing little girl. And the more they get into it, this whole like conspiracy starts to unravel. But definitely a gem of a movie. Like I feel like Mystic River, Gone Baby Gone, like just those real epic masterclass of acting, like thriller type of movies is the category I would put that in. Splinter, I have talked about this on the channel before. Such a horror, low budget horror gem that I don't hear anybody talk about. Body horror gem where we have a couple who end up holed up in this gas station trying to survive this creature. We never find out what this creature is, where it's from, or anything like that. Gone Baby Gone, good movie. They were private investigators. Okay. I was like, I couldn't, it was fuzzy in my memory. I was like, baby, why was they solving crime? Like they weren't cops. Okay. Devil's Due. That sounds familiar. What is Devil's Due? Body horror. Oh, found footage. You know, found footage is not my bag. Let me see. Defiance. Defiance is, if it's not, this might not be based on a true story. I don't know. I feel like it's based on a true story, but don't quote me. But this is Daniel Craig and Cotton Weary, also known as Liv Schreiber. I think he was the brother. But Defiance is a story about Jewish brothers who are trying to flee the Nazis along with like 100 other Jewish people, and they end up fleeing into a forest and creating a village and like living there for, I want to say that was living there for years, just out in the forest. But of course, we have to like fight to survive, you know, against the Nazis and stuff like that. Just one of those really good, like epic kind of period drama type of movies like Defiance, The Pianist. I put it in like a category like that. Very, very good character driven type of movie. Murder by Numbers, Ryan Gosling, Sandra Bullock. I can never think of that white boy name who in here as well, but I love him so much. Murder by Numbers is a crime thriller about these two high school kids who make a plan to pull off the perfect murder, and Sandra Bullock is the detective on the case trying to solve the murder. Such a gem. Don't Say a Word, Brittany Murphy, Michael Douglas, Sean Bean, I think that's his name, where as a child, Brittany Murphy saw her dad get killed. Her dad was a bad guy, like stealing money or jewels or something like that. And she ends up spending the next like 12 years of her life locked in insane asylums, pretty much masquerading like she's insane so that she can be protected from these villains. Once they get out of prison for killing her father, they track her down at this insane asylum and they kidnap Michael Douglas, who is her doctor's family, and hold his family hostage until he can get her to tell them where their money or jewels or whatever they stole with her daddy is hidden at. Death Sentence, my man Kevin Bacon. Death Sentence is your classic revenge tale. It is Kevin Bacon, family man, wife, two kids, they're teenagers. One night, his son is killed in like a gang initiation, and he ends up taking revenge on his own and being like a vigilante when the killer goes free. Love this movie. The one thing about these like vigilante style movies that really irk my nerves is when the cops act more like hard on the vigilante than they was on the actual like villain. That grinds my gears so freaking bad. I think was it Aisha Taylor who was the cop in this one? I can't remember. Push is a movie. We have Demon Henson, we have Chris Evans, a very stacked cast, where you have this group of humans who have like super powers and abilities, where Chris Evans' character can move objects with his mind, and what's that girl? Elle Fanning. She can see the future and different stuff like that. And they are fighting against a government agent that kidnaps people like them and does experiments on them. And so with the whole movie, they are pretty much trying to fight against this government agency that is going after them. I See You. This is pretty much like a pretty by the numbers thriller with Sylvester Stallone and Charles S. Dutton. Pretty stacked cast here. We have Whistler from Blade is in here, but I See You see Sylvester Stallone as like a Fed, like an FBI agent. He's on the case of a serial killer who only targets cops. When the serial killer ends up killing his fiance, he is suicidal. He's on the edge. And Charles S. Dutton, who was his partner, I think that was his partner, takes him to this secluded like facility for cops that have substance abuse problems and things like that. But everyone starts to drop like flies, and we have to try to figure out who is here killing everyone off. Of course, you know, the serial killer followed him out here. Then we have Knock Around Guys, early 2000s gem, very stacked cast. Knock Around Guys is a crime thriller where you pretty much have the son of like a mob boss and his little flunky friends who like want to be mobsters. They are on a private plane. We have Seth Green here. They're on a private plane trying to fly this money towards someplace, and they stop in a small town. They get harassed by this sheriff who beats them up, threatens them, takes their money. Of course, this is mob money. So now we in trouble with the mob. So we have to try to fight against this corrupt sheriff in this small town and also, you know, get the mob to not kill us. Such a gem. I do not know why I don't hear anybody talk about Knock Around Guys. Frequency. I always kind of associate this movie with What is the movie with Bill Paxton and Matthew McConaughey? Frailty. I don't know. I feel like they came out around the same time. Everyone talks about frailty, but I never hear anybody talk about frequency. Frequency is about a man who has this radio that connects him to 30 years in the past, and he is able to talk to his father who died. I think the dad was killed by a serial killer. So once he finds out that he can connect and talk to his dad in the past, of course, he gives his dad information so that he can like stop this serial killer. But you know, when you mess with time and past events, things always go awry. Just like what is the damn movie called? Frailty. Just like Frailty is a gem, Frequency is definitely a top tier gem that I really, really freaking love. Then we are going to get into our next gem, Boiler Room. When I tell you, there was a time, a good decade when Vin Diesel was in hits. Knock Around Guys was one. Pitch Black was one. Boiler Room is another. We have Nia Long. We have what's my Rabisky? What's that white man? We have a stat cast here where it's kind of like Wolf of Wall Street, but a late 90s version where you have these like stockbroker people, but you know, they're doing white collar crime type of stuff. And of course, you know, you have the FBI, whatever, that goes after them. It's a whole like thriller type of situation going on with them doing all this illegal stuff and making this money with all the stocks. And you know how them people do. Lord of War. When I tell you, put this on your list. I love this movie. I'm obsessed. I actually just rewatched this yesterday because when I put this list together, I was like, oh, I got to see. I have got to see Lord of War. So obsessed with this movie. We have Jared Leto in here. Of course, Nick Cage. Lord of War is a really interesting movie, but it's one of those movies that's interesting behind the scenes. Literally, no studios wanted to touch this movie. Nobody wanted this movie to get made. Lord of War is a movie where Nicolas Cage is a gun runner. He sells guns and grenades and all that stuff illegally. He sells it to everybody. Okay, so foreign lands, just the hoodlum down the street, all the talk about like gun control and illegal firearms being out on the street and wars and all this stuff going on. Really, really interesting movie. And it's obviously very politically charged with like gun control and stuff like that. And has a lot of great information that, like, if we go to war in another country, we literally leave all the guns and tanks and grenades because apparently it's cheaper to just buy new ones instead of shipping them. And like when they made the movie, they bought real AK-47s because it was cheaper than buying prop guns. Like, I was like, wait, what? But even though it's politically charged, I feel like the movie doesn't say what you would presume a movie about like illegal guns and gun control and all that stuff would say. Trust me, just amazing. The one quote that they say in the movie that I feel like kind of sums it up is where Nicolas Cage character says, how they say the only way that evil prevails is for good men to do nothing, but what they should say is evil prevails. That pretty much sums up for me like the movie. It's epic, and Nicolas Cage performance is great, but I actually feel like Jared Leto as his brother, such a freaking standout. We have Ethan Hawke in here as well. Ethan Hawke is like an agent for one of them alphabet places trying to catch him and stop him from selling all of these illegal guns. It's very hard hitting from the opening. The opening sequence shows a bullet from like conception. It shows the bullet in the factory getting made. It shows the bullet going all kind of places until the bullet is finally illegally obtained. And The bullet goes through a child's. Yeah, that's the opening sequence. Like very, very charged type of movie. Gossip, another early 2000s gem. This is like a thriller type of movie. We have James Marsden. What is this white boy name? I know Joshua Jackson. We pretty much have these kids in college, and these three friends have a school project to do, and their project is on gossip and how gossip spreads and becomes this whole thing. So they end up doing this for real to like do their whole project, where they end up having Josh Hartnett. Not why the hell did I say Josh Hartnett? Joshua Jackson and Kate Hudson. She like gets drunk at a party. They go off together. So they spread a rumor that when they went off together, they had sex. But the gossip spirals because Kate Hudson was drunk, did not consent to sex. So since there's a rumor, this gossip going around that they had sex, now Pacey, Joshua Jackson is accused of the hard R word, and they did not. So, and then the whole gossip part of it is, yeah, it's gossip, but is it true? Like, did it happen? Did it not? Are they at fault for all of this spiraling out of control? Really, really well done. And I just like the whole idea of like gossip and how it spreads. Like, did anybody else play that game in elementary school where the teacher whispers something to one person in the class and then everybody stands in a line and has to whisper it, and then the teacher asks the last person to repeat it, and it's never what the teacher actually whispered? Like, that's what this kind of reminded me of. I thought it was really, really well done. Not action packed, like we're just kind of following the characters in the story, but really well done. Street Kings, very, very stacked cast. We have crooked cops, and the way people talk about like Heat and Goodfellas and all those, we need to talk about Street Kings. Street Kings is back when I used to actually like Chris Evans. He's in here. Forrest Whitaker is in here. Just a hugely, hugely, hugely stacked cast. You literally know everybody in the cast. We have crooked cops. Keanu Reeves plays a crooked cop. But then when this cop that he thinks that was his old partner is going to rat him out is killed, he ends up trying to solve that case, and it just takes him down this whole rabbit hole. But hey, you know what? I just said with Last King of Scotland, was that the only time Forrest Whitaker played a villainous character? He plays a villain in Street Kings. Well, one of the few times, I'll say, because I'll be feeling like that was the only time he played a villain was Last King of Scotland. But I feel like he never played as despicable as a villain as he does in Last King of Scotland. U571, early 2000s war thriller action type of movie where we have Matthew McConaughey, Henry Keitel, hugely stacked cast. We are on a submarine. I think we're fighting against the Russians. I feel like in all these movies, we always fighting against the Russians or the Japanese. But I think we fight against the Russians in U571. We are on a submarine. We're in battle. A Russian sub like sinks, and we take their men on board, and things go awry. Okay, we in war. We got the enemy on board, so things be going down. Very, very much a gem. I am obsessed with U571. Can I get enough of that movie? I haven't seen it in a few years. Really, really good though. Lucky number 11. Bruce Willis shows up in this list again. Very, very stacked cast. We have Josh Hartnett here. We have a lot of people, like I said, stacked cast. Lucky number 11 has Josh Hartnett, who ends up a victim of mistaken identity. If I'm not mistaken, he comes into town to visit a friend, but he gets like pickpocketed, so he doesn't have his wallet, which means he doesn't have his ID. He goes to his friend's apartment, and these goons show up looking for his friend, but since he's in the apartment and he doesn't have ID, they think he is the person they're looking for. So he end up in the middle of this kind of war with these crime bosses, and they think he's the one that owes him money, but it is mistaken identity. Really, really well done. Lucy Liu is in here. Just I don't know why y'all let this movie just fall, by the wayside. I don't know why. I don't know why, but it's really, really good. Really well done. Next we have The Butterfly Effect. Of course, this is a time travel type of movie where we have these kids that are friends. The friend next door has an abusive dad. They grow up, and we end up with all these alternate times and alternate universes with them, going through with Ashton Kutcher, who is the main character, who keeps going through all these alternate times. Triangle. This is a sci-fi thriller horror type of movie where we have a group that goes out on a boat for just hanging out on a boat. A storm blows in, the boat capsizes, and they end up taking refuge on this ship. The ship, though, is very eerie, and they start getting killed off one by one. And it goes, I say sci-fi because it goes off into alternate dimension, alternate time type of territory. Lucky Number 11 is criminally underrated. Absolutely. Chill Factor. Love that movie. Oh my God. Chill Factor is a good one. I think that's late 90s with Skeet Ulrich and Cuba Gooding Jr. Chill Factor is a really good one. Chill Factor is where this scientist makes this, they always making some warfare that's gonna kill everybody off. And we got some villains that come to try to steal it. And when the scientist gets killed, he tasks the guy, Skeet Ulrich, who works at the coffee shop or something, with protecting it, and he ends up pulling in Cuba Gooding Jr. Yeah, that's a good action comedy thriller type of movie. Snow Dogs. I don't know if I know. Snow Dogs 2002. Oh, Adam. Oh yeah, child. This is not my cup of tea. No, you got a thing for Cuba Gooding Jr. here in this one too. Cisco. What the hell Cisco doing in the movie? Get this movie the hell out of here, Dane. Yeah, I feel like Keanu Reeves is one of those actors. I feel like Denzel Washington and Keanu Reeves are actors that I didn't start really liking until later in their career. That's what it was called. Telephone. Yes, we used to do that in elementary school. I used to like Pearl Harbor. That was the one with Josh Hartnett, Ben Affleck. Yes, I used to like Pearl Harbor. They were best friends. They go off to fight in war. One of them dies, and then the other one gets with his girlfriend. But then he come back, kind of find out he ain't dead. And then the whole Pearl Harbor attack happens. I used to like that movie. I haven't seen it in ages. Now, I used to really love James Marsden. I can't say I love him no more because he was trying to stand up for a rapist. So yeah, I can't say I love him no more. But yeah, he definitely got a lot of movies that I love. Darkness Falls. Darkness Falls is I think this is early 2000s horror movie. This is definitely a 3-star, not a 5-star, 3-star, but Darkness Falls is basically a horror movie about this tooth fairy like character who you lose a tooth and she kills you. And only one child survived her attack and saw her. And when he grows up, he ends up going back to the small town to help a little boy who is in the same position and saw her, and she is coming after the kid to kill him. Mindhunter is a crime thriller where you have this group of, I think there were FBI agents. They go to a secluded like island to do some kind of drills, whatever the hell the FBI people do. But they end up dying off one by one and having to try and figure out who is the person amongst them that is killing everyone off. Fallen, a late 90s Denzel Washington, Donald Sutherland, really stacked cast. This one is one that I would put in a forgotten category. This is definitely one that is a highly acclaimed movie, but I don't hear anybody talk about anymore. It's kind of fallen into the wayside. But we have two detectives on the case of a serial killer. After a serial killer they caught was just executed, his crimes are seemingly continuing to happen. So yes, Equalizer. Darkness Falls is a good one. I used to be obsessed with Darkness Falls when it came out. I ain't gonna lie. Panic Room is Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker playing a bad guy again. I'm so mad that Forrest Whitaker is a bad guy in every movie I put on this list, and my dumb ass said was The Last King of Scotland the only time Forrest Whitaker played a bad guy. He is a bad guy in every movie I put on this list. Y'all, that's how bad my mind is. I swear to God, I have so many actors and movies just jumbled in my brain that I can't even remember and keep it all straight. We have Forrest Whitaker, Jared Leto, Kirsten Stewart when she was a kid. She's in here. We have Jodie Foster. She got divorced. Her and Kirsten Stewart, her daughter, move into a new house, and it ends up being broken into, and they run into the panic room to survive. But unfortunately, what the burglars want is inside the panic room. So the movie is about them trying to break into the impenetrable panic room. Cape Fear. This is another one in the forgotten category. This is definitely a very critically acclaimed, famous movie starring what's my guy? What is this man's name, y'all? The way my mind goes blank. Robert De Niro, Jesus Christ. Robert De Niro, Nick Nolte, Jessica Lange, Juliette Lewis. This is a Martin Scorsese classic. Cape Fear is about a lawyer played by Nick Nolte who family ends up harassed by a rapist that he represented who ended up going to jail, played by Robert De Niro. Talk about Robert De Niro playing like a real scary behind character. But I've seen this movie ad nauseum. This is a really good one that I feel like more people need to, like the younger crowd of movie fans need to discover, and we need to just bring this back and really talk about it. Very successful, famous Martin Scorsese film, but I really never hear anybody talk about it. The Gift is a thriller, kind of a supernatural type of film where okay. I don't know what my computer doing. It is a supernatural type of movie where that white lady you see on the cover, she is a psychic. Katie Holmes' character goes missing in this small town, and this psychic is trying to solve the case. And of course, it's never, that simple. When I tell you, them Divergent movies had me in a chokehold. I saw every single Sartare one in theaters. You couldn't tell me I wasn't gonna marry Theo James. I was obsessed with the movies. Divergent and Maze Runner. When I tell you, both of them franchises had me in a chokehold. Oh, Snake Eyes is a good one with Nicolas Cage and Gary Sinise, who I used to call Fish Eyes when I was a kid. Snake Eyes is a good one. Snake Eyes is a really good one. That's a good one. Yes, Panic Room, obsessed. I used to watch that all the time. My mama had Panic Room on DVD, and I used to watch it all the freaking time, like obsessively, truly. The Blob original from, I think it's the 60s, and the Blob remake from the 80s. absolute classic, horror classics that I do not hear anybody reference or talk about. I feel like people always talk about, Halloween and The Thing and Friday the 13th and Chucky. We need to talk about The Blob. We need to talk about The Blob, okay? Classic. I love both, but the 80s remake. The 80s remake is my favorite. The Blob, of course, is about this asteroid, comet. What's the difference between an asteroid and a comet? I don't know. Asteroid, comet, rock from space crashes in this small town, and this gooey blob thingy crashes, and it consumes you. And the more people it consumes, the bigger the blob ends up getting. And the girl from Saw, Amanda, she's in here as a teenager. The Dylan guy, he's in here. And I love the fact that the villainous character is black, because we don't get enough black villains in horror. Love him in here. The Hunt. This is another one that I feel like suffered from the time period. This, along with Tenet, came out in 2020, went straight to streaming because, of course, we were in the demic. But The Hunt is like a political comedy, horror, satire type of movie where you have like the left versus the right, and they take you out, and we hunt you, all the people, the leftists, we hunt you, and we are all trying to survive and fight for our life in this hunt. Love this. Such a gem that I just feel like really, really suffered from the time period that it came out. Overlord. I have talked about this on the channel. I will continue to talk about this movie. I don't know how the hell y'all just overlooked Overlord. We got a black protagonist, black hero that we really don't get in horror. This is a zombie Nazi war action mangled up type of movie where we have this group of soldiers over in like Nazi occupied France. I think they're in France, and we're fighting against the Nazis. And come to find out, the Nazis are doing these experiments that are turning people. They're not even zombies, but they're zombie-like because, like, they can't die. They come from the dead. It's trust me, get into it. It is such a travesty. First of all, that this young man who starred in this did not blow up, but it's also a travesty that this movie really gets overlooked. Possessor. This is another one that I really, really freaking love. And I'll be honest, just like Tenet, babe, I can't tell what the movie is about. The movie is above my pay grade. I guess I'm not smart enough. It's like, this is one of those like hard to understand movies I put in the category of Tenet. But Possessor is pretty much, it's Cronenberg, it's body horror. And in essence, it is about an assassin who takes over random people's bodies and kills and does the assassination through just taking over some random person's body. So kind of like Get Out, like your body gets taken over and you still in there, but the person taking your body over only takes over for a while and like murders folks. This is one of those really trippy. It's Cronenberg, okay? That should say enough. But I love this movie so much, and it's so crazy to me how many people have not seen this. I was actually just watching a live the other day where the panel was talking about Possessor versus The Substance, and like everybody in the live chat was like, "Never saw Possessor, never saw Possessor," and I'm like, "What the world?" Like. And it came out just a few years ago. I want to say it came out in like 2021, 2022. I don't know. It's a very new and recent movie. Very like jaw-dropping, like correct. Like I said, it's Cronenberg. Revenge. I really wanted to give this some shine. Of course, everyone is talking about Coralie Farjah's movie, The Substance, that just came out. But before The Substance, she made Revenge. I will never forget watching this movie. Didn't know what it was. I just saw the poster and I was like, oh, this little, blonde white girl holding this gun, and it's called Revenge. Let me see what this is. Literally, that's what happened. And I just watched it. This is an essay revenge movie. and there is an essay scene, but the director is a woman, so it is not as graphic and horrific as like I Spit in Your Grave and all them grape scenes in those movies. But it is a essay scene though, and it is an essay revenge where we have this woman who is having an affair with the married man. They go off on a trip, and unbeknownst to her, he invites his two male friends to come, and she's just having fun, flirting with one of the friends, dancing with him, like literally not that serious to her. She's just having fun, but he get mad, um so she ends up spending the movie trying to get revenge and kill off the crew. And it's definitely very, very, very different from the substance, but the running thread of a Coralie Farjad movie, there will be blood. There will be blood. There will be an insane third act, but I love this one so much. And I hear a lot of people talk about the substance and say that it's Coralie Farjad's first movie. It's not. So check out her actual first movie, Revenge, that does not get enough love. We have Hidden with one of those Skarsgård brothers. I think it's the Skarsgård brother from what is that movie that I just talked about? The Northman. Is that Skarsgård brother? Hidden is a movie about a family who ends up like taking refuge underground in this bomb shelter to avoid like this dangerous creatures and outbreak that is happening on the surface that has killed off the bulk of the humans. When I tell you the type of experience, I don't want to talk the movie up, okay? I don't want to talk it up. I will say, as much as I love this movie, it's not as good or effective on rewatch. Still solid, but not as effective on rewatch. And the ending leaves a little to be desired. But my very, very first experience with Hidden is literally one of the greatest movie experiences of my life. And I don't want to talk the movie up, but this was just my experience with the movie. When I saw Hidden, it was just like when I saw Revenge. Never heard of it before. Didn't know the synopsis. I literally was just looking for something to watch. Saw the cover art. I love to just pick a movie based on the cover art. And I was like, oh, what's this? Like, I like this cover. What's going on? They're under there. And then I went to watch it. I have literally never been so on edge because you have this family living in this bunker. There's something on the surface that like you don't like it's very question mark. You don't know exactly what happened on the surface or what they're hiding from. And I literally spent the first like hour of the movie like, what is it? What's happening? Like I have not, like when I tell you, one of my greatest movie watching experiences of my lifetime. Okay, y'all know I done seen 50, 1,100,000 billion movies. Literally one of my favorite first time watch experiences ever in life. Barton, like I was just so like I was so probably being dramatic, but I was so on edge. But the movie is a solid 3-star. It's a solid 3 out of 5-star movie. My very, very first watch, I would say it was a solid 4-star movie. The ending I just really didn't like the ending. But I will say, please, if y'all do not ever listen to me when I say don't watch previews and when I say go into movies blind, please go into this one blind if you haven't seen it. Because trust me, the less you know, the better the experience. And I feel like that helps and hurts this movie because once all the questions was answered on rewatch, it wasn't as effective because it wasn't that intensity and that suspense and that like, oh shoot. Without that, it's still, like I said, solid 3-star movie. It's just not a 4-star once you know like those answers. So if you don't listen to me no other time, go into this one completely as blind as possible. Bad Samaritan. I think this was a Netflix original, but do not quote me. Bad Samaritan is a movie about these two guys who break into houses, and this one house they break into has a woman being held hostage, and they are, of course, going there, and it's like, we thieves, but we ain't on this level. So they try to help the lady that is being held hostage, and of course they end up ensuing the wrath of the man, the home owner, and that is pretty much the bulk of that movie. Really well done. No One Lives with Luke Evans. This is another gem that I discovered just going in blind. Didn't know what it was. Just saw the cover art, and I was like, oh, no, okay. But No One Lives is a movie about this gang, like a murderous gang, who end up targeting Luke Evans and his wife, but the tables turn along the way. And that's all I'll say about that. I don't want to give too much away. Don't be afraid of the dark. I talked about this before on the channel, I think in a KillerCon episode, but this is such a gem. I don't want to talk it up. I don't want to talk it up, but I feel like Don't Be Afraid of the Dark has literally one of the greatest openings in a horror movie ever, and one of the greatest ending sequences in a horror movie ever. Like, that opening and ending makes the movie. Literally makes the movie, but all the middle is still good. But that opening and that ending is amazing. But this movie is Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Is a movie about this little girl and her father, and Katie Holmes, who is the stepmom, moving to this house that they're renovating. There's these like supernatural creatures that eat children, and that's all I will say on that. Next we have The Old Guard. Where is the sequel? I've been hearing about a sequel to The Old Guard since like 2022 or 2023. Where is the sequel? The Old Guard is a Netflix original. This is an action movie. We have a group of immortals, and they cannot die. They live for hundreds and hundreds of years until one day, all of a sudden, you do die. And you don't know when that time will be. It could be in 500 years. It could be in 300 years. You just never know. Over time, something happens and you die. And they go around like doing good, but they can't like do stuff for people over and over again, because then people will get hip to the fact that they are immortal. They end up discovering a new immortal that they bring into the fold. I am so obsessed with this movie. And what the hell is the sequel? Netflix, where is the sequel, child? Next we have another Netflix original, Project Power. I enjoyed this movie. And I remember when it came out, y'all was dogging this out. I don't know why. Project Power is a movie about a pill, like a drug, a street drug, that ends up, when you take the drug, you get superhuman power for like 5 minutes or something like that. And you have like this teenager and like a cop and a soldier who all get together to try and track down the people responsible for putting this drug out on the street. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Give the movie a chance. Everybody was kind of dogging this movie out when it came out. I like how they incorporated. I like the teen girl in here. She was doing like some kind of rapping or whatever the hell. I actually liked it. I thought this movie was actually really cool. It kind of reminded me of what's that movie, Code 8, where like you have a sector of people with powers, but with this one you take the drug, and you get some powers. Tarsi, thank you so much for being here in the live. 2 Sandra Bullock movies, The Vanishing 1993 and Premonition 2007. Wait a minute, is Premonition the movie with the guy from Nip Tuck who was her husband and he like got killed, but then like he was alive and she was trying to stop him from like getting killed and something like that? Yeah, that was a good one. I like that one. I don't think I know The Vanishing. Let me see that sounds familiar. What is The Vanishing? This can't be the Sandra Bullock. I don't remember Sandra Bullock being in here. This is the one with Kiefer Sutherland and Jeff Bridges. I need to add this to my list. I've seen this, but I have not seen this in ages. I do not remember Sandra Bullock being in here. Yes, The Vanishing is a good one. I can't. This is one of those movies where I can't quite remember the movie, but I remember like the feeling that I got, and I remember that I really like it. Dang, I forgot about this. I do not remember Sandra Bullock being in that. Good ones. Those are good ones. The Net. Oh my God. Talk about a movie I used to watch ad nauseum. I used to love Sandra Bullock movie The Net. Absolutely. Ladybugs, Sleepers is a sad one. My Jesus. Amazing movie. Sad as hell. Apt Pupil, Wild America. I don't know Ladybugs and I don't know Wild America, but yes, Apt Pupil is a good one. Sleepers is a good one. I never hear anybody talk about Sleepers and Apt Pupil. Sleepers is so sad. Sleepers is about this group of it's these boys that are friends, they're kids. They pull a prank, it goes awry. They end up getting sent to jail where they are essayed by the guards, and then they grow up. It's sad as like it's dark and it's bleak, but it's a good movie. Blueberry ricotta cheese pancakes. Thank you so much for being here in the live. Shout out to you. Hey Nikki, love the Divergent book, but didn't care for the movie. Panic Room and The Gift were A++. Never read the Divergent books. Love the movies. Love the movies. And I remember around that time, I did not like. When I tell you, I'm just an old person. Even when I was in my 20s, if it was some teeny bopper teenage stuff, I ain't want nothing to do with it. I will never forget not liking Justin Bieber. Like, why the hell is y'all grown people listening to Justin Bieber? I remember saying that to my friends. I was like, I did not want anything to do with no teeny bopper ish when I was in my 20s. I remember that's why I did not watch. I've never seen Twilight because at the time it came out, I was in like my early 20s, and I was like, y'all don't want to do the little teenage stuff. But Divergent, Maze Runner, oh, that's the teenage ones that got me. Them was the YA books turned to movies, and I was like, oh, I'm sad. Both of those, I think they're both trilogies, if I'm not mistaken. Divergent and Maze Runner are trilogies, if I'm not mistaken. Love those movies. Love those movies so much. Oh, Sling Blade is a good one. Along Came a Spider. I forget which one I like more. Along Came a Spider or Kiss the Girls. One is about the child that gets kidnapped. I like that one, but my favorite is the one where the girls are kidnapped and all held underground or something like that. But yes, that's a good one. Oh, The Bone Collector is a good one. I never hear anybody talk about The Bone Collector. That's a good one. What about Jordan Peele's Nope? I liked it. It was different. Keke Palmer was good in it. Well, this category is only underrated movies, unappreciated movies, and forgotten movies. I wouldn't put Nope in that category. Nope is still talked about. Nope is one of those what's the word I'm thinking of? Divisive movies where either people hate it or they love it, but it was successful, so I wouldn't consider that underrated. I wouldn't consider it unappreciated. So yeah, it doesn't fit the category. But when I reviewed Nope on the channel, I saw it in theaters. It was a lot I didn't like about it, but overall I liked Nope, but I have literally never rewatched it. I saw it that one time and I've never been compelled to rewatch it. But justice for Keke Palmer. She needed all the awards for Nope. I absolutely loved her in that movie. 100%. 100% loved her. Blob of 1958 starring Steve McQueen. Yes, 80s remake was much better. I love them both, but yes, I think the remake is absolutely the better film. That's just my humble opinion. The Conference. This is a Netflix original. This is a remake. I talked about the original on the channel before, but this one is solid. The Conference is about a group of co-workers who go off for like this work retreat, and we all start getting killed off one by one. Lot of fun. And this is a new one. This came out very recent. Incantation. Y'all know I always say I don't like found footage. Throw the whole subgenre away. There is 3 found footage movies that I actually like. Incantation is one. Incantation literally top tier horror movie. If I remember correctly, this is found footage. Don't quote me. I think it's found footage. I saw it one time some years ago. But Incantation is a movie about a woman who ends up breaking into this religious thing or whatever, and she ends up getting cursed. And fast forward, she ends up having to protect her daughter from the consequences of this curse from her like breaking into this religious thing. And I'm talking kind of vaguely because I don't really want to give anything away. It is creepy as hell. The horror is effective as hell. Trust me, very, very good. It goes into like can't remember what type of Asian, but it goes into like Asian religious, is it called mythology type of stuff, with her going into messing with this thing that's really taboo. Trust me on this one, okay? Never hear anybody talk about it, and it is an absolute travesty. What happened to Monday? What happened to Netflix making good ass original movies like this? What happened to Monday had me in a chokehold. I will never forget when this came out. What happened to Monday is a sci-fi thriller type of movie where this is a future world where families are limited to only being able to have one child due to overpopulation and resources and stuff like that. So we have a set of identical sextuplets who live their life as one person, but end up in like this dangerous fight with the government and trying to hide when one of the sisters goes missing. Outside of the ending, some decisions I didn't like with character decisions and motivations, this is a motherfucking joke. Netflix don't make movies like this no more. I don't know what's going on, who done got fired, who ain't on the creative team no more. But this is when Netflix was putting out gems for, I mean, like solid damn movies for real. Judgment Night, a 90s gem. Okay, absolutely a gem. Yo, I need somebody to find this movie I've been looking for like the last 50, 11, 100,000 years that I cannot find. There is a female version of Judgment Night. What the hell is that movie called? I need to find that movie. I have literally been looking for it for 100 years. It was a made-for-TV movie. It was exactly like Judgment Night, but instead of it being a group of male friends, it was a group of female friends. I cannot find that damn movie, but I digress. Judgment Night is a movie about a group of guys who are on their way to like a football game or hockey game, whatever the hell you men go do, which is sports. And they end up trying to detour because there's traffic, and they end up in the bad neighborhood on the wrong side of the tracks, and they end up seeing these inner city gang kill somebody, and they end up on a run for their life. Just a typical 90s thriller, but I have so much fun with this, and I really think it's a shame that nobody talks about this movie anymore. Imposter. Imposter is a sci-fi thriller movie with Gary Sinise and what's that white man name? I can't think. Mekhi Phifer is in here. But Imposter is a movie where this alien ship crash lands, and Gary Sinise is accused of being an alien impersonating Jesus Christ, impersonating him. And he is trying to prove his innocence and that he is the real him. He's not the imposter. He ends up working with Mekhi Phifer. Jim, Imposter, Minority Report. Like, I love those like futuristic sci-fi type of movies that feel like it could be a real reality, like a real world. Fractured, another Netflix original. Sometimes Netflix has some gems, man. Sometimes they have some gems. But Fractured is a movie about a guy with his wife and daughter. They're traveling. The daughter gets attacked and hurt. They stop off at a hospital, and he ends up looking for his daughter who gets taken, and they are trying to say he doesn't have a daughter. So he is trying to he finds like proof that the daughter was there, even though they're denying it to the police. So he pretty much goes through the movie trying to find his daughter that has been snatched. And next we almost at the end. I said we weren't gonna be all day, and I had to get through this fast because we had another live. Does anybody else remember Coach Carter? Coach Carter is a true story about Coach Carter, who was a basketball coach at this high school, was trying to straighten out, the inner city youth that were, raised in hell. Absolutely love this movie. Such a gem. This is one of the ones in the forgotten category. This was successful. Ashanti was in here, child. But nobody ever talks about, y'all always be talking about Remember the Titans, but remember Coach Carter. Night call. Wait, I could have sworn this was called Nightcrawler. Is this supposed to be called Nightcall? Did they mess up their own poster? Hold on now, child, because I thought this was called Nightcrawler. It is called Nightcrawler. I don't know why that poster says Nightcall, but this is Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal, where he is just this weirdo, a scumbaggy guy who is trying to be successful. He decides he wants to be like paparazzi, but instead of taking pictures of celebrity, it's the paparazzi that takes pictures of like crime and people getting killed for the news. And things really go awry as he is trying to get certain shots for the news. I love a movie with a character study with someone that is just such an unhinged, disgusting, despicable person, but I'm mad that it's always a man. Where are the female, disgusting, despicable characters just like who Jake Gyllenhaal plays in this movie? That's what I really, really want to see. Next we have Forgotten. This is an Asian horror movie, Netflix original. Forgotten is a horror movie about two brothers living with their parents, teenage brothers. One brother is the goody two shoes, like perfect brother. The other brother isn't. The perfect brother ends up going missing. All of a sudden he appears. He comes back home one day. We don't know where he's been. He has no memory. And only the brother senses and realizes that something is off with the brother after he has returned. And the movie follows him trying to solve the mystery of what exactly happened to his brother while he was missing. Forgotten was really a gem. Like, I didn't know anything about it. I was very, very pleasantly surprised. That really, really blew. Like, I go up for that movie. Wind River. I debated putting this on the list because y'all know I don't like watching nothing with the essay scene. And the essay scene in this movie was very hard for me. Lord Jesus. And it was also hard because I didn't know it was going to be in the movie. It just came out of nowhere. And I was just like, God damn. Like, I wasn't in no mood for that. I didn't know it was going to happen. But yeah, Wind River is a gem though. So I had to add it. No, I really don't hear anybody talk about it. Wind River is like a crime mystery story about these agents who come to this like little wilderness, Alaskan maybe town, about a missing native girl, and we are trying to solve her murder. Okay, definitely it's like those intense crime movies that I put in the category of like Mystic River and Gone Baby Gone is in that type of category. Very, very well done. My guy John Berthenel is in here. It's just the story that happened to the girl, y'all. It's so damn sad. You gonna cry. Like, it's sad what happened to that girl, man, when they solved the mystery. But really, really well done. Taking Lives. This is, babe, when I tell you, I could not like Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is everywhere. He's in every gym. This is also Ethan Hawke is in this one. Taking Lives is a movie about what's this lady name? Angelina Jolie is an agent. She's on the case of this serial killer. I really won't say much else. Okay, great crime thriller, but yeah, go into that one blind because it's some good stuff that the movie has up its sleeves. Before I Go to Sleep is a little thriller about Nicole Kidman, who ends up attacked. Someone tries to kill her. She survives, but she loses her memory. And is it like Memento where she loses her memory every day, or does she just not remember anything before the attack? I think she just doesn't remember anything before the attack happens. So you spend the movie trying to like solve the mystery of who tried to kill her. This is another one that really has some tricks up its sleeves. I thought this was a really well done thriller that works really well. Extinction, a Netflix original sci-fi action thriller movie. We have Earth being invaded or whatever, and we follow this father and his family that he is trying to protect as Earth is being invaded by, extraterrestrials that are trying, to destroy us. Because that's all the aliens want to do, is destroy us. But he spends the movie fighting for his life and the life of his family. Again, this is back when Netflix made great movies. Okay, I don't know what then happened, what's in the water at Netflix. They don't make them like this no more. Okay, that blew me away. Nocturnal Animals. If you in the mood to be real depressed and cry, this is the movie. The way I cried, I didn't just drop a thug tear. Like, I was crying on Nocturnal Animals. Is bleak, is dark, but it is amazing, well written, great performances. Nocturnal Animals is one of those like movie within a movie type of stories where we have the outer shell of the story, which is this woman who she is going through some stuff. She has a divorce. Her husband wrote a book about her. Not a romantic type of I wrote a book about you. And then we get into the inner layer of the story within the story where you have this father, husband, his I think it's his wife and daughter are brutally attacked because what else do men do to women? Yeah, that happens. And yeah, we follow that. Okay. This movie freaking blew me away. This is a one and done for me though. Amazing movie, but I can't sit through stuff like this. Okay. But I don't ever hear anybody talk about Nocturnal Animals. This one was this is top tier. This is the 5-star. This is one of the 5-star movies for me, but it's bleak as hell. Like if you want to jump off a bridge, that's the movie. Exam. This is more of a 3-star movie. This is just a fun little a good little horror thriller type of movie. Exam is a movie about a group of applicants trying out for this job, and the interview process is all of them in a room trying to do this exam. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. It's a hard thriller, so that should tell you what's going on. We try to do this damn exam. I Came By is basically the exact same synopsis as Bad Samaritan. We have these two friends who break into people's houses, and they end up breaking into the house of a serial killer, just like Bad Samaritan. But they're both literally the same exact synopsis, but they're both very well done. Now, I will say, I think Bad Samaritan is the superior film, but I Can't Buy is still really, really well done. I don't know why I said two reallys. I said I wasn't gonna put no sauce. It's not really, really well done. It's well done. They're literally the same movie, but they are both worth a watch, and they're both really good. I love movies like I said, I always love not just following good guys. You know what I mean? Like, I love movies like that where we're getting into people that aren't, stand-up citizens. Does anybody remember Deja Vu? I feel like this movie has completely been forgotten. This is actually the era before I was a fan of this. I didn't become a fan of Denzel Washington until later in his career. But Deja Vu, and I actually didn't really care for Deja Vu back in the day when it came out. But over the years, I've had one rewatch, I think one or two rewatches of this movie. I haven't seen it in a few years, but Deja Vu is like a sci-fi thriller type of movie. Sci-fi because it deals with time travel. We have Paula Pattinson, who is the victim of a murder, and Denzel Washington is the cop trying to solve the crime, but he discovers this time parallel thing and trying to solve the murder. And he is supposed to just use this time travel thingy to solve the crime and catch the bad guy, but he ends up kind of endeared to Paula Patton, and he wants to, save her and prevent her from being dead. Funny Games, the remake, but I would also add in Funny Games, the original, but I just didn't give it its own slot or number. But I think both are gems that I really never hear talked about. I don't really know why the director remade his movie. But I would suggest checking them both out. Again, I don't know why I don't hear people in the horror community talk about Funny Games, but Funny Games is pretty much this family on vacation. It's like a home invasion horror, but trust me, it's not the generic home invasion horror. I Am Mother is a Netflix original. Now, this isn't on the level of the top 5-star Netflix originals that I said they don't make no more. This is a more recent one. This is more a 3-star movie, but the way that everybody was going crazy talking about like Bird Box when that dropped on Netflix, I don't know why nobody was talking about some of these other gems. But I Am Mother it has Hilary Swank in it, and this is a like futuristic kind of post-apocalyptic world where this robot lives in a bunker with this little girl that she is raising. A stranger comes to the door and kind of starts to challenge everything that the little girl thinks she knows about the world and the robot that's raising her, etc., etc. Emily the Criminal. This is more of like a little slow burn type of story, really not action packed at all. But I was very pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed this movie. We pretty much have a woman who joins this whole scam type of thing to go make money. And we pretty much watch her rise through doing this petty crime and all of that stuff. Next, we have Phone Booth. Phone Booth is Forrest Whitaker, and he plays a detective. And we have Colin Farrell, who goes to talk in a phone booth. He ends up being held hostage in the phone booth by the person on the phone who says he is has a rifle, like a sniper rifle pointed at him. The cops come, but he can't get out the booth, and it's like this whole standoff that's happening. Really good little early 2000s thriller, kind of like Man on the Ledge type of movie. Samaritan. This is a Prime original that came out just a few years ago that I feel like really flew under the radar. This is Sylvester Stallone. We have a kid who is in this neighborhood, and he starts to realize that there is a superhero that everybody thought had died that is actually living in his neighborhood. There was like this epic battle like 20 years prior. Everybody thought the superhero had died, but this young boy starts to realize the superhero is actually living in his neighborhood. And even though this was pretty on the nose and by the numbers, especially how they wrapped up the movie, I was very pleasantly surprised with Samaritan. This is actually a really good movie that I'm like, I don't know if it's because it was a Prime original that everybody kind of slept on it. Baby, what is you doing? What are you trying? Why did you get up here? Where you want to go? I don't know if it is because it is a Prime or give 1 second, y'all. Give 1 second. Okay, sorry. The dog be. I don't know how y'all have kids because this dog is the dog is enough. Like she know when I'm sitting here, and like she know I'm working, and you supposed to leave me be. She know better. She know. Where was I at? Oh, damn it, I done messed up. Damn it, we done went back to number one. What? Damn it, what number was I on? I don't even know. That damn dog. Okay, I was somewhere around Emily the Criminal. Was that the last one I talked? Okay, I talked about phone booth. Sorry, y'all. Let me get my bearings. Okay, Samaritan. I think that's where I was. Yes, this is a gym. I don't know why everybody slept on this. Maybe because it's the Prime original. You know, Prime don't got very good originals. But Samaritan was actually pleasantly surprised. Like I said, they wrap it up with the bow, very on the nose and by the numbers, but it was very enjoyable. And it was one of those, you know, on the nose. You know, they had a little message, you know, good versus evil type of stuff. Oh, and the villain in here, super, super good. If I remember correctly, it's the guy that always play a villain. He was in like the last seasons of Game of Thrones, who Cersei was supposed to marry him or whatever. Yeah, he plays a great villain. Okay, let's keep him typecast. I'm okay with that. Extinction, not to be confused with the Netflix original Extinction that I just talked about. This is a different Extinction. We are in this post-apocalyptic world. We have two men and this kid that are survivors. There's a hatred, like a feud between the two men that get kind of pieced together as we go throughout the movie. But the earth is kind of barren. There are these creatures that we have to hide from or whatever. It's character driven. It's not action packed. Kind of more slowly paced. But I think it's a real surprise, like sleeper hit that I feel like really flew under the radar. Trespass, a 90s gem. Trespass, Statcast. We have William Sadler, Bill Paxton, Ice-T, Ice Cube. Like, we got everybody in here. But Trespass is a movie about two firefighters who find a treasure map and they go to get the treasure. But of course, it's in the hood and they run across some gangsters. And they end up wanting to, you know, have this treasure, but we got to fight for our life and try to get out, you know, and fight past the gangsters. Really a great, really great 90s thriller that I feel like it's just, y'all, we got to talk about it. We got to get up on it. A Paradise, another Netflix original. Again, this is one of the more 3-star recent Netflix movies. This movie, I feel like y'all know that movie with Justin Timberlake and Amanda Seyfried, In Time. This took that premise and did it better because In Time sucked. That movie is terrible, but it's a great premise. So if you're not familiar with In Time, Paradise is a movie where, of course, we're going to always live in a capitalist world, you know, and we're going to always exploit poor people, okay? But instead of money being the capital, years of your life is the capital. So, like, if you got to pay a debt, it's like 20 years off your life. Like, imagine paying your phone bill and you got to pay, the cost of your phone bill is like a week of your life. Like, that's pretty much the currency in this world of Paradise. And in Paradise, we have a man whose wife ends up forced to have to pay 40 years of her life. Now, you know, if you're paying a debt like that, baby, like you're going to be dead 40 years because she already, you know, they real grown folk. So she would be elderly. So his wife ends up having to pay 40 years of her life as a payment for insurance debt. I think something about their mortgage or something. And they end up going on the run. Because of course he doesn't want her to have to pay 40 years of her life and end up being elderly, like you see on the cover art. She's gonna go from that to that. But I was really excited that they did this movie because I remember watching In Time when it came out. I mean, so disappointed and let down. I think it's a really great premise. There's a lot to explore. Now, does Paradise really explore that premise the way that I would have hoped? No, it doesn't. It's just kind of a brainless, like fun, enjoyable movie. It doesn't really deep dive into a premise like this and really go there with it like I would have hoped, but it's much better than In Time. Just a good little thriller, good little 3 out of 5 star little Netflix thriller. Surviving the Game, another 90s gem that I had to throw on the list. Surviving the Game, Charles S. Dutton, What's that crazy looking white man? My mind going blank. But anyway, Ice-T is in here. He plays a homeless man who is given the opportunity of a job, but unbeknownst to him, this group of people, rich people, are just setting him up to hunt him out in the woods, and he has to try to survive. This is definitely a gem of a movie. And y'all, my love for a fight for your life scenario really started when I was a kid, because movies like this, like, I just love that type of scenario. Next we have Let Us Pray. Let Us Pray is a horror, like, horror movie where we have this like remote small town police station, and this mysterious like stranger, the guy from Game of Thrones, this mysterious stranger is arrested, and we have like prisoners and like a little group of cops, and when he comes in, he ends up like taking the souls of everybody in the police station, and we have to try to survive him. Really great gem that I really don't hear anyone talk about. Books, Girls, and Purrs. Thank you so much for being in the live. Shout out to you. Predestination is definitely underrated. Okay, is Predestination the one with Ethan Hawke where he's trying to like solve this? Oh, hold on. Because if it's what I'm thinking of, I was just about to give a spoiler, and I don't want to do that. It's like that futuristic movie that pissed me off, I think. Yep. As his last assignment, a temporal agent is tasked to travel back in time and prevent a bomb attack in New York in 1975. The hunt, however, turns out to be beyond the bounds of possibility. Yes, I remember this movie. Maybe I need to give this a rewatch. I saw it once, and I was actually really into it, but then there's a decision made at the end of the movie that I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, how is this even possible? Like, it pissed me off. Maybe I need to give it a rewatch. Thank you, Equalizer. Yeah, Catch Me If You Can is a good one. Samaritan one. Hold on now. Now, I said I wasn't going to jump out the window. Y'all can't jump out the window neither. Now, we're not going to say Samaritan is one of Stallone's best. Hold on now, because Stallone got Cliffhanger. Stallone got First Blood. Stallone got Daylight. Stallone got some fucking hits. Stallone got Copland. We're not going to put Samaritan in the category of Stallone's best. Now, y'all can't say nothing about me jumping off cliffs when I be proclaiming stuff about these movies, because y'all do the same thing. Calm down now, Equalizer. We ain't gonna go that far. The Hitcher, a 1986 movie. Yes, The Hitcher. Yeah, you know what? I think I would say that's a forgotten one. Highly successful, but I don't really hear people talk about it. I hear like a few people mention it, but yeah, that's definitely a good one in this category. There was also a 2000s remake of The Hitcher that I know y'all probably gonna hate on, but I enjoyed it. I think Sean Bean was the Hitcher in that one. But yes, good one. But I'll be honest, The Hitcher is one of those movies that be kind of making me mad, because I just get really aggravated for like a no rhyme or reason type of movie. Like, why the hell was this Hitcher acting like this, bro? Like, that's how I was going through the movie. Like, well, what he doing this for? Like, that kind of irks me. And I get, the whole Scream motives are incidental. This is the 90s kind of motive. But I be sitting like, man, what you doing this for? That kind of irked me. Hey, Got Changed. Thank you for being in the live. Shout out to you. Deja Vu is a great romp like John Q. Oh, John Q. That's my movie. My son is going to live. My son not going to... Wait, what you say? I'm not going to bury my son. My son going to bury me. Love John Q. You hear me? Absolutely love John Q. Let's go ahead and let me wrap up these last few movies, because I had a live schedule for when the hell. It was supposed to be a back-to-back live. What time was that live scheduled for, Chad? Have I missed it? Yes, I have. The live was supposed to start 30 damn minutes ago. Okay, let me hurry. I said I wasn't gonna be here all day, and it's been over 2 hours. Let me go ahead and get through the last of these movies. um Midnight. I talked about this on the channel. This was like my top 10 best of the year, I think in like 2022, but flew under the radar. Never hear nobody talk about it. This is an Asian like horror thriller crime type of movie. We have a serial killer who ends up spending the movie hunting down this deaf woman. I think it's Korean movie. Y'all know I'll be wanting to say if something is Japanese, Korean. It's Asian. It's Asian. I think it's Korean. Please don't quote me, but it's Asian. And we spin the movie. It's a fight for your life scenario, which y'all know I say I love ad nauseum. But this deaf woman ends up witnessing one of the serial killer's crimes, and she spends the movie trying to run for her life. Of course, she's deaf. She can't really communicate with people. Ain't nobody really believing her. She can't really say nothing. It takes some turns that I really didn't care for, but overall, I thought this was really, really a gem that I just don't know why everybody just blew past it. Borderland. I talked about this on the channel before as well. Never hear anybody talk about this. Borderland is a better Hostel. This is a darker, bleaker, better made Hostel. We have a group of 3 guys, young. What the hell do we ever write that men are doing when they're young? Being obnoxious and just trying to screw girls. That's the movie. Just like Hostel. But these guys are way less annoying and obnoxious than the guys in the Hostel. In the Hostel, I literally cannot watch the first half of that movie. That's how much them guys get on my nerve. But Borderland has these 3 guys. They're about to go to college. So, of course, they just want to go have sex with random women. So they take a trip to Mexico where the locals in this small town, like I said, it's just like Hostel. But minus instead of people killing because they're rich and they just ain't got nothing better to do, it's more so like a satanic cult that's snatching Americans up and killing them. When I tell you, this movie is so good, like you are hard pressed for me to find horror movies that I feel like genuinely put a chill in my spine. That's how I feel about Borderland. Those travel go wrong type of movies like The Ruins, which someone mentioned, like Hostel. What was the one with Josh Duhamel when him and his sister are traveling and they get snatched up because people taking their organs? Those movies really don't. I like them. I like all the movies I just named, but they don't really put a chill in my spine. Like I wouldn't be scared to travel. Borderland make me scared to travel. Borderland puts a fucking chill in my spine. Like it's a good one. It's really a good one. Yeah, and I don't know why I don't hear people talk about it. It's a gem. It's a good one. Apocalypto. When I tell you, y'all know I can't really support Mel Gibson, but Mel Gibson is good as hell. Okay, he good as hell. It's always the worst people. They got talent, okay? Because that man is good as hell. This is directed by Mel Gibson. Successful at the time. This is in the forgotten category because I don't hear anybody talk about this anymore. And what's so funny is, you want to know how good this movie is? The first time I ever saw this movie, there was no subtitles. I had to just watch it in the language that I did not understand, and I still love this movie. Did not understand what the hell them people were saying, but you know, even if you can't quite understand the language, you can still get the gist of the story. That's how good this was. That I did not understand the damn language and I still loved it because for some reason my dumb ditz ass did not figure out how to turn subtitles on. And I remember putting the DVD in and I was like, well, wait, what are subtitles? Fool, I had to turn them on. But see, I ain't know that. But I need to rewatch it and actually be able to see the subtitles because I've never rewatched it. I just saw it that one time. But this movie is amazing. Apocalypto is about like are they called the Mayans? I really be calling all the people from this little time period Mayans. I think this is like the Mayan people They just living happily. But then this like ruler comes and snatch them up to make them like slaves or whatever. And one of the Mayan guys who get away, he ends up on a journey trying to go rescue his wife and child that got snatched up to be slaves. Y'all, this movie is epic. Like how they be saying a movie is like an epic, that is Apocalypto. This movie, y'all, like I said, it's so good. I didn't even understand the damn language, and I was captivated. That's the word. I was captivated. A classic horror story. A classic horror story is about a group of strangers. I think they were doing some kind of ride share thingy in some foreign land, and they end up stranded in the woods, and they have to fight to survive. Kind of your typical, it's called a classic horror story. It's your typical horror scenario. We're stranded, we're trapped in the woods, people trying to kill us, child. But very well done. Very well done. Hey, pretty girl Danny, thank you so much for being here in the live. Shout out to you. The Void. This is horror, sci-fi, trippy, body horror, all the things. We have a group that ends up trapped in a hospital fighting for their lives against a cult. I have talked about this on the channel before, but y'all need to catch on because I don't hear anybody talk about this movie really. And the last movie we have here that is a forgotten gem, unappreciated, underrated, or forgotten. This one is forgotten. The Prophecy. Do anybody remember The Prophecy? Okay. Christopher Walken. We end up where we have a detective who is on the scene for like this. It's like some bizarre murders happening, and he ends up in the middle of like this battle of like heaven and hell and evil and good and earth and all that stuff. You know, like a religious horror crime thriller type of movie. He joins forces with a elementary school teacher, and you know, we got to fight evil. But that is my 100 underrated, unappreciated, and forgotten movies. If you can find something to add to your watch list from this, then baby, I don't even know what to tell you because this was all the gems. Okay. Yes, thank you, Dane. See, the movie I was describing is Touristas. That is correct. Contagion. That's a good one. I like Contagion. The Mexican. Wait a minute. Is that what I'm thinking of? Is the Mexican what I am thinking of? Oh, wait, you know what? I'm thinking of Once Upon a Time in Mexico. That's what I was just thinking of. Let me see. Oh, Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts. Yeah, I never saw that. Not really my cup of tea. Let's see. Murder on the Orient Express. I wouldn't say that falls in the category. I think that's recent. I think it was successful, and I think people still talk about it. I could be wrong. He tried to make his way home to his pregnant wife and son who hid. Oh, wait, okay. So he was the one snatched up to be a slave. And I had it backwards. Yes, I had it backwards. Thank you. LA Confidence. Okay, is this the movie I'm thinking of that I was pissed off and didn't watch it because I felt like it felt real racist, the clip I saw? Yep, this is it. Yeah, Russell Crowe was I don't know if he was racist. Okay, so I never saw LA Confidential because I saw a clip of the movie where it's this black guy who got all beat up and he in an interrogation room and they talking about you killed the girl. And Russell Crowe bum rushed in there and yoked the black man up, and it pissed me off because look at the time period, and it's the black man, and he beat up, and they in jail. All I saw was this clip. I ain't know nothing about the movie, and my brain said, "I bet you that black man innocent, and they beat on him for nothing." So I Googled, and sure enough, he was innocent. That made me not want to see the movie. I'm sorry, and I'm sure it's a gem. Very, very famous movie. People always praise it, but sorry, I didn't like that. So yeah, I never saw it. Because I said, what the hell? I knew that black, like I knew it. I knew it in my gut. I said, baby, all the writing was on the wall. The time period, the white cops, the black man beat up. I was like, I bet you he innocent. And I just had to get a spoiler because I just knew in my bones. So yeah, I was like, I knew it. I knew he was innocent. I knew it. I'm over here cackling about because that'll be my problematic trait, okay? Because we know, Mel Gibson. That's one of the racists that I be still kind of supporting. Like, look, we all got our vices, okay? We all got, okay, yeah. Look, we know about Mel Gibson, but Payback is my movie. Everything he directs is look. The people of the most thin moral fiber, they be having talent, okay? They be having the talent. I'm so upset about watching Pulp Fiction. I told Ashley she picked the worst Quentin Tarantino movie to watch. I'm the Quentin Tarantino aficionado. Y'all should have asked me what movie y'all should watch. I'm so upset about watching Pulp Fiction last Saturday with Tyrone. Ashley, what the hell? Quentin Tarantino forever banned in my book, and why Ving Rhames? Why? Now, what you're referring to with Ving Rhames is him getting essayed hard R-word by the white guy. I got no problem with that because we as women have to sit through countless movies of a woman being hard R-word. So I don't have no problem with that decision. I just really don't like that movie. I really don't like Pulp Fiction. I think that is Quentin Tarantino's worst movie, in my opinion. I had to think for a second. That's his worst movie. It's absolutely his worst movie. Prophecy is great, but don't watch the sequels. Don't watch the sequels. But the first one is great. Definitely a forgotten gem. Hey, Nadia, shout out to you. Check out Horror with Naz, y'all. She is over there talking horror. She is watching the X-Files TV show for the first time. Check out Nadia. I tried to warn you in the chat. I minimized my screen when that scene was coming up. Nah, don't minimize the scene. We have to see women get hard R-word all the time. The men will be okay. But we are going to wrap this up because I had a second live that started about 45 minutes ago. So I am going to jump over to that live. Hopefully I will see you all there. Thank you so much for being here and supporting the live. I will see you in the next one, which will be in 5 seconds.